Thank you, Lance. Good morning, everyone. Brian Baer, Regional Program Coordinator for Hurricane Sandy Reconstruction for Architecture for Humanity. I'd like to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing since we've been on the ground for about a year now. Architecture for Humanity is coming up on its 15th year anniversary next month, a couple of weeks from now. And since then, we've worked with communities at risk, serving about 2.7 million people through 27 countries, predominantly resolving around a disaster or two. Sandy is our 12th disaster. We currently have a program in Moore, Oklahoma, which is our 13th, and the Philippines, which is our 14th. As part of our core mission of Architecture for Humanity, we like to piggy up our response to a particular disaster. So we are targeting these four market programs in our mission statement: sustainability and resiliency, community engagement, education and sports, and economic development. So our three current programs that we're running right now respond to all of these. Our first one is down in Seaside Heights, Restore the Shore, where we're working with the borough of Seaside Heights to help rebuild their boardwalk and also create a mobile event center, which will be used right now for 3 seasons out of the year to help promote economic development throughout the borough and the region. Another program that we're working on right now is the Renew New Jersey, New York Schools program, where we're working with public schools that have been damaged by the storm. The 3 schools that we're working on in New Jersey are Toms River High School North, the Washington School at Little Ferry, New Jersey, and the Memorial School in Union Beach, New Jersey. All of these schools saw significant damage to their academic programs, and what we are doing is we are gap filling, supporting the athletic programs by helping reconstruct their athletic facilities in a resilient and sustainable manner. One of the programs that we're also excited about, because we have such a large partnership in New York City with Enterprise, Pratt, New York City Housing Recovery, and New York City HPD, came from the SIR report, which is establishing a Sandy Design Help Desk geared towards helping property owners in at-risk communities with design solutions to rebuilding their properties in a resilient and sustainable manner. So what we did was, right around the time the SIR report was issued, we pulled together our troops and trained our volunteers for the first pilot, which was held in Far Rockaway. Far Rockaway, we had about 80 volunteers through the New York City Department of Buildings and City Planning. We trained all 80 in courses of the changes to the New York City Building Code, the New York City zoning ordinance, to make sure that the information that we gave the property owners was current and up to date based on the latest changes post-Sandy. In Far Rockaway, we held it in early October, so just before the Build It Back program was closed at the end of that month. We saw, over the course of 6 days, 30 property owners. Some of them were multifamily owners. Most of them were single-family owners. All of them had some form of mold remediation and rapid repair. And they came to us and our volunteers to get ideas about how to rebuild their homes resiliently. Similarly, in Red Hook, which we just completed at the early part of February, we held that over a 3-day weekend in early February, where we saw about a dozen property owners, but the same amount of properties as we saw in Far Rockaway, which is about 30-35. Many of the property owners that we saw in Red Hook were not only residential property owners, but also commercial property owners. So it was a little bit different than what we saw in Far Rockaway, which was predominantly residential in nature. So who did we help? In Far Rockaway, the top graph you could see 24 single-family attached or detached homes, coming up to 89% of the population that we saw. In Red Hook, it was a little bit different. The vast majority were commercial or industrial properties. We had a very lengthy, hour-and-a-half long discussion with one property owner who was thinking about moving his 50,000 square foot industrial facility up to a new second floor. And through our discussion, we actually determined that he could dry flood-proof his commercial facility, saving him hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of moving his operation to a second story. Where were the issues? The top chart you can see in Far Rockaway, a lot of first floor flooding, mold remediation, major impact, major damage to the interior. In Red Hook, looks like it's a repeat of Far Rockaway, but I can tell you what we did see was also a lot of first floor flooding, a lot of mold remediation, a lot of first floor major damage, predominantly to equipment, because of the industrial and commercial nature of the facilities. There we go. Sort of highlighting the larger words are really the issues that we talked about in resolving for our clients that came through the facility. So a lot of mechanical systems, a lot of reinforcement of the basement, how best to spend my reimbursement funds, and how to help mitigate the insurance premium increases that they were going to see. Those were really the top programs the top discussions that we had. So what's next? Well, the partners ourselves, Enterprise, Pratt, New York City HRO, and HPD are going to be creating a new program where we're going to be replicating the Sandy Design Help Desk around neighborhoods by the end of the year. We're going to create 8 instances in Staten Island, in Brooklyn, in Queens. We're probably going to go back to Far Rockaway and Red Hook, trying to help more and more people. With these efforts, our hope is to not just continue the Sandy Design Help Desk, which is a prelude to hopefully a national program that we are hoping to launch with our friends, the AIA, in really developing a program for financial assistance, insurance assistance, design assistance, and construction assistance. And hopefully we will be taking that not just around the neighborhoods of New York City, but also taking that out to Long Island, Connecticut, and New Jersey. So, thank you.